So Natalie
Yeah.
is not the guru telling you, no, your system is the guru. Life force is the guru. Natalie's just showing you where you're interfering so that your system can come back into cohesion. And once it locks into cohesion, you can hold center, then your I am is now solid, and that is natural authority because nature guided your system back to authority. There's a difference between hierarchy authority and natural authority is the internal system comes back into cohesion. And so your true position on this planet is truly yours. It belongs to you. And so now life mirrors that and you're not carrying it. You're just expressing it. It's a whole different energy. And especially for women that carry everything.
Yes,
I
which
want you
many
to feel the
high-performing women
lightness.
do.
Yeah, I want you to feel the lightness.
Welcome to the Leadership That Shines podcast, the weekly leadership training show that's built around 3 values that show up in everything we do: impact, influence, and growth. Whether you're leading a team, building a business, or learning to lead yourself first, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Natalie Davis. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Leadership That Shines podcast. I am so excited to be back with all of you. I kind of feel like I'm out of rhythm. I've had a few weeks off and now getting back into recording. This has been a season of events for me and in my life. As you all know, I also am a speaker. And so I've had speaking events that I've been a part of and that I've been a part of planning over the last couple of weeks. And I'm coming off of the very last event that I have any interest or investment in planning as of this past weekend. And so it's nice to get back into the rhythm of creation and a little bit more of a controlled pace to my day. When you're planning events that have multiple moving pieces and key people that are involved, a lot of things hinge on other people responding and getting back to you, and that's always fun. Anyways, I've flexed that muscle and I'm ready to get back to my normal. So welcome back. And I am so excited to dive into today's episode with you all because we have a special guest. And what is interesting, I will tell you, just growing up, there were not many girls named Natalie. And so when I met other Natalies, I was like, yep, absolutely, we're connected. And there is just this natural connections with Natalies across the world. I don't care who you are. If your child is named Natalie, just know that there is a natural thread that kind of runs through and connects every Natalie. And so today we have Natalie Bouchard who is joining us. And I could not be more excited to connect with you, Natalie, because the work that you're doing actually aligns very much with the work that I am working on currently and some of the messaging that I'm delivering. So welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here, Natalie. This is awesome. You'll see. I think we're going to have a lot of fun today.
I think so too. Okay, so here's what I typically like to do. I like to get the listeners connected with our guests. So I'm going to give you a few moments. I know that you have a very rich story in terms of your journey in
Mhm.
leadership and what that has looked like throughout your lifetime. I'd love to give you a few moments to just introduce yourself to the listeners. Tell us a little bit about who you are in your leadership journey.
Yeah, like for most of my career, I was a high performing banking executive consultant, and then later a mindset and work and life alignment coach. I started off by being a Bob Proctor consultant. I was mentored by the late Bob Proctor. He was in the movie The Secret. And so I've been working with clients, specifically entrepreneurs, for like 30 years now, and went from health and fitness because I was a pro athlete and intuitive healing, work and business alignment, financial consultant, love relationship. And so one deep pattern I noticed from myself is that from the outside, us entrepreneurs, we look very successful. But looking back, I can see that much of my life was organized around like achievement and performance and meeting expectations. It wasn't organized around my center. And then life started dismantling everything I had built my identity around. Ouch. A long-term relationship ended. I lost over 100,000, like hundreds of thousands of dollars in a scam in my business. I became a single mom. My health became part of the conversation. I was diagnosed with abnormal cells And it was like, what surprised me wasn't that those things happened. What surprised me was that what they revealed. Because
Mm,
despite decades of personal development and leadership work, I realized I was still deferring my authority outside of myself. I
mhm.
had like knowledge, like $700,000, 10 years, 12 healing designations, studied the personal development from every angle, right? Knowledge I had,
Yeah.
but I wasn't fully connected to my own center because I didn't even, with all of that, I still didn't know what center was.
Right.
That
Right.
began a much deeper inquiry. What happens when a leader loses connection to themselves and what becomes possible when they return? So, that
Mm.
question eventually became the foundation of the work that I do around center, natural authority, and leadership under pressure.
I love it. Natalie, thank you so much for sharing your own personal journey. I think what I am curious about is understanding, like, as you started to have this discovery, was it after life continued to life for you, life was happening? Is this when you started to kind of unfold and realize I'm not doing the right things for the right reasons at the right time?
Yeah, it was almost like, what ended up happening is that I had like basically nothing to hold on to anymore. Like, all
Mm,
of it was stripped, and so I couldn't defer my authority. I couldn't even afford a coach, right? Because I honestly, that's what I was going to do. I would have, because I would have deferred my authority. Okay, somebody else must know. But the thing is, it's like what we don't realize is like the best way I can describe it is like imagine life is happening right here through my relationships, trying to speak to me. Reality, if we can hold it, is trying to give us feedback, but we have a
mhm,
hard time receiving the feedback, right? And so, reality through my relationships with my kids, through relationship in business, like all those bad deals that I could feel something was off, right? And so, but I couldn't hold reality. My system couldn't hold because it was very fragmented. And so, because I couldn't hold it, I would abandon it. That's self abandonment,
mm.
right? I abandoned God, but I'm going to come over here and study about God. Wait,
Oh,
something's a little off with that. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
but it had
Yes.
to all collapse because like it's like those stories about God. God keeps sending you exactly what you need, but then we resist it, abandon it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we just don't see the message. And so we close ourselves off from it and then we try to find orientation from somewhere else. Well, if I'm not connected to what is happening in that moment,
Mhm.
I disconnect from my own inner orientation because that part of me that's connected to life, God, reality,
Yes.
the universe, I'm completely disconnected from it. So, how do I know where to go next? Of course, I don't. So now I'm turning around and getting another designation because I mustn't know enough.
The solution is
Like,
there.
oh my
Exactly.
God. It's
That's
like, no, the solution is not there. You know what I mean? We pray, we
Yeah.
meditate, and we don't realize that we are abandoning God and
Yeah.
we don't see it. And I
Yeah.
couldn't see it. I was learning about universe. I didn't know how to participate with it. And I see this a
Mm.
lot, right? A lot of people now, especially with AI, Natalie, they know how to say things perfectly. But do you know how to participate? And that's what I had to face and look in the mirror and say, yeah, you can learn something else if you want to, Natalie,
Yeah.
but you still don't know how to participate. Your system fragments, you don't know how to hold, your system doesn't know how to hold. And so that's where I started asking questions. Okay, well, how do I learn to hold reality when things are really intense? Like, if you notice
Mhm.
in boardrooms and in critical situations, notice even on stages when things don't go
Mhm.
right,
Yes.
notice like women, and especially women, because for thousands of years we were not allowed to follow our inner orientation or authority, right? So it's not to
Yes.
blame us, but we didn't build the containment, the self containment, the inner containment to be
Yeah.
able to hold reality. So we hold stories instead.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now we're trying to build life is organizing around your stories instead of what is true. Can you see
Exactly.
this is what destroys that's why my relationship everything, but it is a blessing because it was God, life, the universe saying, "Natalie, you have a very big purpose, but this is about to hurt."
Mm.
This is
Mhm.
about to it hurt. Like I'm telling you for months I was like screaming, the anger, the rage. I gave everything to this, you
Yes.
know? And then
Absolutely.
realized, "Oh, yeah, you gave everything to everything other than yourself."
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Did you receive gentle nudges along the way before it all
Oh,
began to
absolutely. That's
Yes.
why, like, a lot of people are like, "I can't relate with your story because everything collapsed." I'm like, "Here's the thing, for years and years and years, like, I can see because we connect the dots looking backwards, like Steve
Mhm.
Jobs says, right? And
Yes.
so now that's why I have the wisdom that I have now because I can connect it looking backwards. But I could see exactly what you're saying, Natalie. Like, the nudges were there, the whispers. It always starts with a whisper. And then we don't listen, and
Absolutely.
then it gets
Yes.
louder and louder to the point where now I look back and I'm like, "Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It was so obvious." But it is not obvious to the woman that is completely fragmented, and what I mean by fragmented is the mind is going one way,
Mhm.
the heart and soul of you is going another way, right? Because the mind is not
Mm.
even stopping to hear the truth, the knowing within your system. So now picture your nervous system. Now your nervous system is like, "Well, I gotta go in survival. Somebody's gotta take care of this woman because her mind is over here, and we can't trust that because it's disconnected from the heart." And so nobody's in charge inside of the system. And now we have, like, a lot of women now trying to what? Manage their nervous system,
Yes.
regulate their nervous well, you're how about we go to the root of what dysregulated your nervous system in the first place is because your
Right.
whole system is fragmented. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Natalie, what I love is the piece that you shared where you mentioned that you're taking the time to learn about universe, but you're not taking the time to participate and realizing and recognizing when you're missing those opportunities. And as we kicked off, I shared I'm coming out of, we did a 2-day event, virtual event this past weekend,
Wow.
one of my business partners and myself. And it was a fabulous, beautiful space. We had 6 amazing speakers that shared. And we were halfway through day one as we were preparing to go into our lunch break. And we were talking about exactly this the somatic
Okay.
work, right? Like
Awesome.
regulating our nervous system. Like, what can we do to make sure that when life comes at us, that we're prepared to truly be present and respond and not be
Mhm.
reactionary and all of these things. And at that moment, we had a hacker come in and take over our screen and a lot of the profiles. And
Oh,
as soon as
wow.
that happened, I immediately go into I'm going to contain the space that we've created, like in this vessel, right? Like the energy in the
Mhm.
space that we've created. And so shut the meeting down and did all of the back end things that you need to do, right? Like message out to all of the attendees, create a new meeting space, everyone take a lunch break, everyone pause. What's beautiful is that we were in it, we were studying it, but
Mhm.
that was also my opportunity and invitation, the way I look at it,
Yes,
to
to
actually
participate.
participate. Exactly. I mean, that
Y
when you say that, that just resonated so deeply with me. I was like,
Mhm.
"That's real life." And just coming out of it and feeling that, right? Like if
Mhm.
I was not it's in center when you say it. And I say home, so
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
space
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I would love to. Yes, I
Yeah,
want us to
same.
dive into
Same.
this as well.
Yeah.
But I think that that's a key piece for the listeners to really spend some time reflecting on. Like we can spend time learning about, but we also need to be able to participate in. Right? We have
Mhm.
to be able to truly step into it and be a part of it, not just sit on the
Exactly.
sideline and stay confused.
And I love how you said, like, containment, because this is the biggest piece, and you've probably learned over the years how to hold space for what is.
Hmm.
Because that's you staying connected to reality, staying connected to God, staying connected. This is for me. This is not
Yeah.
against me. And
Yes.
because the minute you make it wrong, make yourself wrong, make anybody wrong,
Mhm,
that's the disconnection. Now you're
mhm.
not containing the space. So now that space can't speak to you. There is nothing
Right.
coming through you. But because you were able to hold it, the next steps were revealing themselves pretty quickly and
Mhm,
you were able to move very quickly. And this is why I see a lot of men, because I've been in corporate for so long too, before I went into business. And I would see a lot of men, like I've been in a lot of boardrooms and things would fall apart. And these men
mhm.
had the ability to hold what is. This is why they were chosen for these certain positions. And that's why I say to women, I'm like, the moment that you can learn how to hold, contain, hold reality, especially women, do you realize the amount of intelligence that moves through women? I'm not
Yeah.
saying like, but there's so much through men and women. I'm not saying that, but there's so much moving through women that is not being expressed through the world because they're not able to hold those moments without a story. You know what I mean? Buffering
100%.
reality. And now they're
Yes.
speaking from a story. And so everybody's disconnected. Now everybody's like, okay, this is off. This doesn't feel right because a
Yes,
story
it
can't
doesn't
feel
fit
right
here. Yes, exactly.
because
Yes.
you can't create anything from a story.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But naturally, that's what when you talk about the disconnect, like our brain wants to go there, right? Like it wants to attach to what it already knows, right? That's where the story comes
Hmm.
from the prior lived experiences, the prior observations, the prior thoughts, the biases, the beliefs, all of that.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have that alignment, you could just be in this space and not
Well, most
truly have.
people are, right? The mind
Yeah.
just takes over. And we've had thoughts, like even the mind though, it's not really the mind that takes over, it's really the body in survival that takes over. Because how many
Mhm.
women like get caught up in stories and they have a thought or they want to say no, but the body moves into a yes. You know what I mean? Or the opposite. So it's
Yes.
really the survival piece that we want to recognize that the nervous system's in charge. If you're in
Yeah.
survival, that's why women freeze in boardrooms. That's why they don't know what to say, what to do. The whole nervous
Mhm.
system moves into survival because in that moment, the mind went one way, the heart went another way. The whole system is split, is
Yes.
fragmented. And so now they're trying to like figure out how to speak, they can't because the nervous
Yes.
system's like protection, 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 which is not
Exactly.
ideal because now your nervous system is making all your choices. And as you all know, it does it for survival, not for your happiness.
Exactly.
And that's what ends
Exactly.
up happening. I've seen it. And I was that woman in boardrooms where I'm like,
Right.
because somebody would put me on a spot and then right away, all I could see is, early childhood where I was teased and made fun of, but that's all
Mhm.
it was like I locked into that moment, but then I was trying to heal it, and the thing is there was nothing to heal. It's really l this is the thing, yeah, I have 12 healing designations, and I've learned all of it, somatic, neurolinguistic, everything. Women are getting caught up in healing because it's another way of delaying the participation. So here's the thing, like,
Oh,
that's why
there's our
my
daily dose of truth.
yeah,
Thank
my
you.
like, I had to admit it, like, I did it. The truth is, like, I had to look in the mirror. Like, the reason
Yes.
why I was, studying as much as I did was still avoiding the true, participation. Now, I wasn't aware of it, it wasn't like every
Mhm.
day, like, "I am going to delay this." But
Right.
that's why I got caught up with healing and something's wrong because of my childhood, it must be because of the
Right.
childhood. And again, if I make the past wrong, because the past, present, and future are interconnected. So if
Mhm.
I make the past wrong, then in the present, I have nothing, no orientation, connection to something that's mine in the future because I disconnected from the past. And that's what I was doing with all these healing methodologies, trying to heal people, trying to heal myself. And now I'm like, oh shit, like there is no healing. There is how to learn how to hold space for what is the
Right.
truth because they're all interconnected. Everything in the universe is interconnected. It's all, and if I'm not okay with one, it
Right.
disconnects me from the next step. And then where am I going? And that's what most women, if you look, most women are like, I don't know where to go next. I don't know what to do
100%.
next.
Yeah.
And that was me. So well,
Yeah.
there's another methodology. Okay, maybe that's what's going to save me.
Yes. Exactly.
Right?
Another designation, another
Yeah,
certification. Let's try it. Yes, we'll learn it
yeah,
again.
yeah,
I love that. Well, Natalie, you touch on such a big piece, and when we talk about women and kind of the disconnect that we have, and we kicked off the episode talking about this, right? We do all of the things, but I think in a way that we are checking the boxes, not necessarily doing things that fulfill us completely, right? Like that
yeah.
fill our bucket in terms of purpose, alignment with value, alignment with self. Talk to us a little bit about your work and what you've seen in terms of that showing up and how we can help our listeners work through
Yeah.
that if
Yeah,
that's where they
again,
find
like,
themselves.
if you think of, like, our history, because we understand the present when we look at our history, is that we were taught to, be the good girl. We were taught to adapt to our environment and become what the environment needed us to be.
Mhm.
And so that there's the major fragmentation. But men, boys, most men and boys are instructed differently. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so, being successful, focus on what it is that they truly want.
Mhm.
Versus, but women, it's like, well, no, you can't say that. That's going to piss them off, tone it down. Don't be
Mhm.
above people, that sort of thing. And so when we really look at that, we became women that are really good at managing life.
Mm.
And so we go into spirituality, and what are we doing? Managing spirituality. We're
Yeah.
managing ourselves inside of spirituality. So now I'm going to wake up and I'm going to meditate, and then I don't even meditate anymore. I don't even do any of that stuff anymore. No, I
Oh.
don't. It's all gone. All of it. It's unnecessary, because the truth is that in all of these spiritual practices were so sacred because they were teaching us one thing: stop abandoning yourself in life.
Mm.
At a
Mhm.
very deep, deep root, we humans do not trust that life supports us.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
use the word life to be very general. You can use the word God, universe, but even if we're praying, why are you praying? You're still praying out of fear that you're not going to be supported. And so there's a very deep, deep level that we don't believe life will support us. So because we don't believe life will support us, now we have a checklist of things that we make sure that we do because it's on us.
Mm.
But that's what
Wow.
fragments the system. That is abandonment. The checklist is abandonment. The
Yeah.
healing is abandonment. That's why the first thing I do with a lot of the clients, I verify, because I want to make sure they're not coming into the program that I'm going to save them, or any
Mm.
of that,
Mhm.
because
Yes.
then that becomes the intention.
Yes.
And so the
And
first
it's
thing
just focus. Shifted. Natalie will save you. Here's the new
exactly, no,
focus.
Natalie's
Yeah.
going to teach you how to participate with life, because a human, and it says it in the Bible, humans are not supposed to be leading other humans. We're supposed to collaborate together. We're supposed to walk next to each other. We're supposed to like, Natalie has a way of seeing cohesion and seeing what interferes with cohesion. I have that gift. Someone collaborates with Natalie, that's great, because Natalie has the gift of seeing that. But
Yeah.
but we're not but not place me on a pedestal and then defer your authority and orientation to me. No, God,
Mm.
life is your guide, and it's happening through your children. It's happening through everyday moments, but we
Right.
can't hold it because, oh, it's wrong. Something's wrong. This means something wrong about me. And then we go look for another methodology, and then we got the checklist, and I got to better do all these things on the list to make sure that my nervous system is regulated. And if your nervous system could talk to you, it would say, well, hun, the reason why we're not regulated is because something is happening and you're disconnecting from it. You can't hold it. So now your whole system is split, and now I got to protect you.
Mm.
And yet we're trying to, like, and then I see so many women, like, I had hormonal issues at 38. I'm 49 and I can have children. Isn't that freaking
It's
crazy? The
yeah.
radiance, the
Yes.
vitality that you get by staying connected to what is. But
Yeah.
we got to stop making what is the problem. It is not the narcissist. It is not, the people that tried to take down your system. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This,
Yes. Yes. The
what do you,
hackers.
the
The hacker.
hackers, yes, the
Yes.
hackers. It is not all of these
Yeah.
things, right? And so but we don't realize we can't hold it. So by blaming it and making a story around it, then,
Yeah.
well, then we don't have to stand in our authority, do we? We don't have
Yeah.
to stand with God. We don't have to see what we're made of. How sad is that, though?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, Natalie, when you put it that way, like that's I never thought about it that way. And there's a lot I want to unpack. I want us to get back to that place where we can stand in our authority, or at least what we need to be aware of in order to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of the steps that you talked about that are actually detaching us, disconnecting us, that you touched on one that is a hard pill for me to swallow,
Yes.
and
Okay.
that is my morning routine. I have been committed to my morning routine daily for 11 years now. It
Mm-hmm.
is part of who I am. It's pretty
Yeah.
consistent. I'm
Yeah.
98% of the time. So
Yeah.
on 365 days out of
Yeah.
the year, 98% of the time I'm doing my morning routine. And if
Mm-hmm.
I don't do it, I completely feel off. But I know that I'm very linear. I know that I'm very structured. So I can see it, which is why it's a hard pill for me to swallow. Talk to us a little bit about that
Well, the
because,
trigger is showing you something to look at. And what you
yeah,
wanna do again, just like you did with the hackers, you held space for it without making it wrong or we don't wanna make the list wrong. What you
yeah,
wanna do is hold space with for hold space and say, "I was triggered, so God, life is triggering me in this moment to look at something," not necessarily change it or do something different, but just
right,
hold space for it because in that space, the intelligence will come through. But I would ask the question, like, is there fear attached to this to-do list? That's
mm,
what is driving it? Is it truly your wisdom, your heart, what you desire,
mhm,
or has this been another box to keep you safe? Do you know what I mean? And so therefore it's fear based. But again, it's like it's something to really and it's not something that's gonna come through you, like, that quickly. It's something that
right.
you hold and you this is the part that I love talking to people. It's like, we all come from the void, and I know some people, like, really don't
Uh-huh.
like it when I say that, but it's true. I mean, we were nothing, and then we became something. So we all kinda come from nowhere, right?
Yes,
So
100%.
but
Yes.
yeah, so we come from the void. But space, void, emptiness is actually everything. So when you can hold space with an open question of, is there something for me to see here?
Yeah.
And you leave it wide open, but you hold because that's a void. Your mind's going to be, well, I need to finish that. We don't like the
Finish it or
uncertainty.
fill it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
let's
fill
fill it.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
don't,
But
yes,
the
absolutely.
true geniuses, the geniuses, if you look at how they operated, is that they often had open questions, waited to get a pull, then decided to experiment, and then reality gave them a feedback. And then they didn't say, oh,
Mm,
reality's trying to tell me I need to heal. No, 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 no. Reality
yeah.
just gave a feedback. They sat with it, held space for that until the next pull, the next signal came, and then they experimented again. That's the genius that I was able to uncover, which I went from basically, like, literally nothing left except my beautiful daughters that are healthy, which is everything, but you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
everything else is wiped away, which is it's a nightmare for a single mom, right?
absolutely.
But
Yes.
within weeks, my authority came back, and then I had spoken in front of a small group. There wasn't a lot of women. 90% of the women said yes to this return to and I hadn't even created it yet. And I was like, "Wait, okay," but they could feel the energy. They could feel I was centered in this. They could see all of that and feel that. And then it was like I moved out of it so fast because life didn't remove everything. God didn't remove everything to keep me there.
No,
Of course not.
no,
There
because
was
that's not how
something
it
really
works.
no,
Yes.
it's
Yes.
not. But could I hold space? Could I leave the questions open? Can I be like, "Okay, well, let me talk to these ladies about this and see let's just see. Let's wait for the feedback." And then the
Yeah.
feedback blew me away. And then ever since then, I've been having like, I've been on podcasts like 4 or 5 a week
Oh,
because people
wow.
are well, because they're curious about this, you know?
100%.
I think
Yes.
people are ready for participation now and move out of the knowing
Learning,
and learning.
discovering, fill in the blank with whatever
Yeah,
season or stage you think that you're at.
yeah,
Yes. And participating, getting to participation.
yeah, and don't we want to? That's what makes you feel
Yes.
alive,
Yes.
participating with life. We don't even realize it, but we're
Yeah.
afraid of the feedback because our system has a hard time holding it because then they fragment. And no,
Mhm.
like all of you will know the part where your system has a hard time. Like I would fragment everywhere. So that's why I'm the best at teaching it because obviously I fragmented in every area of my
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
But for some women, it's like there's a specific area where they're on stage or work, they fragment. When they come home, they don't. And some, it's home that they fragment. Right.
Yes.
And so it's just like asking yourself, like, where do you fragment and
Mhm.
keep that open?
Mhm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when they pose that question to themselves, are they looking for a feeling? Are they waiting for the message? are they able to identify it in that moment to see where they fragment? Is it blatant? Is it a neon sign in front of us? Should we
Well,
realize it that
you'll know if you're fragmenting in a certain area of your life because it's really loud. Like life sends you
Mhm.
whispers and then it gets really loud. And then we think, "Oh, it's because 'cause I'm not good with the law of attraction." And I'm like, "Oh my god." Everybody that is in your life, the good and bad, are supposed to be there. So you
Yeah.
can't try to manipulate God and life and bend reality to your will. That's like saying bending God. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Reality is reality. The people in your life are supposed to be there. How are you receiving them? Are you receiving them centered whole or are you receiving them fragmented? And so
Right.
that creates distortions and interferences in your life because you can't even
Right.
see your I couldn't see my daughters, and this is where my heart comes in because for the longest time I thought there were like something like that, not that there was something wrong with the girls, but that I didn't do good as a mother, so the
Mhm.
circumstances they were in was because of my fault. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? That sort of thing. Not
Mhm.
even realizing that I was so fragmented as a mother, I couldn't even see them.
Right.
I couldn't even see the gifts, the beauty, the perfection that was there, so I wasn't even able to nurture that. And it's not like I decided to have kids and not nurture them, like, come on, there are
Right.
no mothers that want to hurt their kids, but
Right.
if we are fragmented while raising our daughters, which a lot of mothers are, then the
Yeah.
daughters, you're teaching them to fragment.
Mhm.
And then when does that end? I don't know, it ends with me, you know that movie? It ends with me, you know?
Yes, exactly.
And
Exactly.
that's what creates us because when a woman is fragmented in her system, that's when she becomes um, available for dysfunctional relationships, narcissistic relationships, um, like the worst of things to happen because they can tell nobody's home.
Oh, wow.
Think about it. They can tell. They just have to ask you one question. They can feel it in your energy. They can feel it completely. And I've attracted many of that. And a lot of women I know have attracted pretty bad situations. And the reason why is if the system is fragmented and it fragments around men,
Yeah.
then guess what? You have no power. You're not even connected to the
Right.
very source that is going to advise you on how to move out of it because you're
Exactly.
disconnected from it because you've now fragmented. And now you're connected to yeah, it's and now you're connected to that shit. You know what I mean? And so
Yes.
now again, I connect the dots looking backwards and I'm realizing like for me, it's like the daughters, the next generation. It's not that we're gonna stop the outside world from being who they are, but if I can help my children be so centered into
Yes.
themselves that they're connected to God, connected to the source, they're good. They're really
Yeah.
good. You know,
Absolutely.
the possibility and the change, the probability of them, not getting hurt
It
that
starts to
way.
go in the yes,
Yeah.
yes. You're
The
setting them up for success in that space so
that
that they're not
space,
as
yeah.
fragmented in life or every season of life.
Yeah, and
You
then they're
stop
going
teaching
into
them that.
business and entrepreneurship and success
Yes.
from a place of centeredness that their heart really wants it. And people
Yeah.
can connect to their hearts and then their heart like, do you know what I mean? And that's what
Yes.
attracts amazing people, collaborators. Now they're not trying so hard to make business work. They're just
Right.
talking and their people are like, "Oh my god, I'm so drawn to you." You know, I get like
Yes.
my clients are just like, "Can't get enough of you. I love you." Like, and it's not a love you like worship you, love you because this is a breath of fresh air because you're walking next to us. I'm human just like
Mhm.
everyone else. I still
Yes.
fall on my face, but I'm able to hold it.
Yes, exactly.
And because I can hold it, it's like people are like, "Oh, this is very attractive." Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. That's what
yeah.
makes a woman
That's what
attractive,
makes it
right?
go that's I was gonna say, like, or if you spill water or food or both right before you're about to do a podcast.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I could do those things
That's
and
what I
still
did,
show
by the way.
and then I did as well, so it was both respectively at the same time,
It's a
but that's
Natalie
okay.
thing. It's a Natalie thing, right, Natalie?
No, I love that. Well, Natalie, what I would love to hear from you because we've talked about like the high performer women. You brought up your girls, like talking about like the next generation.
Yeah.
If we are mothers or aunts or mentors for younger women, what are some things that we can do to help in shining a light on this? Like, what are
Yeah.
some things that we
Start with
can
yourself.
Mm.
Here's the thing, like, that's the
Yeah.
problem. I was trying to fix the things with my daughters.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they inherited something I couldn't see. They were fragmenting, and, well, the youngest one was fighting from fragmenting. It was almost like I was expecting her to. I didn't realize that my system, the way I was being, was
Yes.
actually trying to force her to fragment because she's like she's very strong, and this is who I am, and you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and we call them spirited, meanwhile, they're centered. That's the crazy thing. Wow. Yeah, can we
Say it
stop with the
again for the
name?
people in the back.
Yes.
Absolutely, I get that.
Yes,
I can see
exactly. We
that.
call
Yes.
yes, exactly. And then the other daughter was, like, fragmenting and abandoning herself to meet everyone just like her mother was doing. And
Mm.
so, honestly, it didn't take long, like, when I returned to center, well,
Yeah.
first I could see it and I could see my children clearly. And what ended up happening is transparency is the most beautiful gift you can give your children. I
Yeah.
share with my daughters, it's not because of the scam that we lost everything. It's because your mother had a knowing and she ignored it and she abandoned it. And so
Yeah.
don't ever ignore your knowing. Question, just stay with it. I love Oprah. Oprah said once, if it's like not a no or a yes, right? And if it's a maybe, it's a no.
It's a no.
If you have
Agreed.
to if you have to, like, negotiate with yourself, it's a no. Just
Yes.
say no, right?
Yes.
And so that's what ended up happening, and so these are the things, but if you could be transparent with the children where it's like, yeah, your mother's human. And yes, here's all the wisdom you get to have from all of the things that I had to learn. And
Yes.
let me share that openness with you because it's funny because we think by being open with our children that they're going to start doing the mistakes that we did. It's not true. The
Absolutely.
more
Yeah.
open you are with your children and transparent and say, okay, but also from a place of centered, because a fragmented person will blame the things on the surface for the reason why things
Mm.
are the way it is. It's because of the
Mhm.
relationship. It's because of your dad. It's because of the circumstances or whatever. It's because of my health issues.
Yes.
Versus when a woman is centered, she's like, I had a knowing and I abandoned it, and then that led me to overeating, and that led me to having health issues. I wasn't speaking. I couldn't because I kept abandoning my voice, and now I had thyroid issues. Can you see if we can start speaking to our daughters from a place of the truth is most of I would say 98%, I don't know if you would agree with me, Natalie, but 98% of the ailments that women are suffering with, body image issues, relationship issues, business issues, is coming from one thing. They're disconnecting from the very power source intelligence that is trying to communicate and connect with them. And
Mhm.
if you disconnect from that, you have no radiance, you don't have vitality, you don't have the intelligence, you don't know where you're going next. You disconnect
Right.
from inner orientation, and if you do that, you have no authority. But your nervous system's like, well, we don't know what to do next, and we need to know what to do next. So now you're looking for someone outside of you to tell you what to do next. And I don't know
Exactly.
about you, but are we tired of living like that?
Exhausting. It's
Eh,
exhausting. Yes,
eh,
absolutely. Yes.
yeah.
Well,
And that's
I
what
would
happened
love
with me. Yeah.
yeah, I would love for you to talk to us about being centered, like, and what that truly means. So, if it's
Mhm.
new to our listeners, talk to us a little bit about the work that you do and how that
Yeah. Like the
translates.
yeah, like to be centered feels like this. There was a morning I woke up and there's sadness moving through me. But I became the woman. I used to become the woman that would attach to sadness, and now I became the sad woman that day. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
mhm.
And that's
Yes.
what we do.
Yes.
When we're fragmented, we do. We attach to the feelings, the emotions, to everything, the stories. We don't know how to be the woman that can hold space for the sadness to move through us without making it wrong.
Yeah.
And so when you can hold space, which means your mind, your heart, and your body start working in harmony, there's no more
Mhm.
making anything wrong, but we have to stop making our past wrong. We have to stop making our system wrong. Got to stop. Our body is intelligent beyond, oh my God. We got to stop making those wrong. Stop making your patterns wrong. Stop trying to kill your ego. You know, all of these things. Can we
Yeah.
stop? That's separation. The moment we stop making the internal system wrong, the system starts to move together in harmony. Now, this is a powerful part. We all know the I am. Whatever follows I am is that is your power.
You're
So
speaking
when
life
this
into that.
right,
Yes,
so if the system
exactly.
Oh, when the system fragments, then the I am is basically all over the place because one day you're sad, the other I'm confident, the next day you're not confident, right? So the I
Mm.
am follows that. Now, when the system is cohesive, and that's what I mean by center, if you can picture the three circles, and in the center, your I am is now solid. So every day you are still solid. You are the woman that experiences sadness. You hold space for the sadness to move through you, but you are not I am sad. You see the difference. So
Mm.
now your position, and this is a powerful thing. This is where the authority activates. Then the I am becomes solid. You take one position, a powerful position. So my position is center. That's why I talk about center and
Oh,
natural authority. So that's my position. Now life can organize around that, can it? Because I hold the same position every single day. We don't realize it, but life mirrors your position. Most of us don't
mm.
realize one day I am confident. Life's like, okay, let's organize around that. But then the next day you collapse. So life's organizing around that. And then we wonder why
Yeah.
we have highs and lows. Well, life mirrors your position, the I am position. But how do we have this? How do we bring our I am so solid? Is the
Mhm.
question. And that's what I discovered. And so now I help women bring the internal system in which life is doing it, just so you know, not Natalie. Your
Yeah.
system already knows how to return to cohesion. We interfere with it. Life already is right now trying to help you bring your system back into cohesion.
Yes.
You interfere with it. And so Natalie is just here to remove to show you where you're interfering
Yes.
so that life in
Exactly.
your system, uh, the brilliance that it is, can do its work
Exactly. It just
and bring you
continues to
back.
flow. Yes.
Yes. So Natalie
Yes.
is not the guru telling you, no, your system is the guru. Life force is the guru. Natalie's just showing you where you're interfering so that your system can come back into cohesion. And once it locks into cohesion, you can hold center, then your I am is now solid, and that is natural authority because nature guided your system back to authority. There's a difference between hierarchy authority and natural authority is the internal system comes back into cohesion. And so your true position on this planet is truly yours. It belongs to you. And so now life mirrors that, and you're not carrying it. You're just expressing it. It's a whole different energy. And especially for
I
women that
love
carry everything.
Yes,
I
which
want you
many
to feel the
high-performing women
lightness.
do.
Yeah, I want you
Yes.
to feel the lightness. And I don't get up and um, I do take care of my body every day. I think
Mhm.
the taking care of the body is extremely important, but I don't try to take care of my body anymore. This is what's so cool about it. Once my system became cohesive, my nervous system, nervous system moved out of survival. So here's the thing, the nervous system is connected to the subconscious, and all of you have some very deep patterns you inherited from your ancestors in your subconscious, just like me. And so my eating disorders, all of those things came from that line. But
Mhm.
whenever my system moves into survival, it taps into, because the body only knows what it inherited, so it taps into those patterns. And so that's why I would be like, why is it sometimes I have a hard time controlling my binge eating and sometimes it's easy? Oh, nervous systems and survival. So ever since my nervous system became like my system became cohesive, I tapped out of that. So that pattern no longer rules my life. And so now I'm
Mm.
showing up and it's easy to show up for my body. You
Yeah,
see, it's yeah, it's
absolutely.
very different. Like life is very different.
I
Yeah.
love that. I feel like it is a complete light switch for individuals once you work with them and they're able to identify these things, right? And
Oh, yeah, like
we've touched
weeks.
on
Like,
yeah,
honestly, weeks. Because here's my thing, my bet is not on my methodology, my bet is that when they remove the interferences and they don't remove it, they just see it. Honestly, women are highly intelligent. The minute you see what's interfering your system from becoming cohesive and you see
yeah.
the stories, the women are already like, you don't even have to try to let go. Again, the power that you're gonna give, Natalie, to your to-do list, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The holding space with an openness and allowing
Mhm.
that space is cohesion. So
Yes.
giving space is allowing cohesion to happen
Yeah.
on its own. And so what needs to let go will let go on its own. What needs to come in will come in on its own. Can you see? But your
I love
job is
it.
to hold space for it so the interferences can reveal themselves and then you let them go. And then life, your body, the system, everything starts to move into harmony again. And then you're like, ah, and like, think about it, Natalie. This is how nature works.
It
Like,
is.
when there's
Exactly.
excess potential, which think of a system that's fragmented in humans. When your system is fragmented, you create excess potential. Well, in nature, when there's excess potential, there's a storm that
Yes.
comes clear the energy and then brings everything to homeostasis. Well, guess what?
Yes.
Life does the same thing with your
We're
bumps.
built the same. We're mirroring that.
Yeah, we're built the same.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
We still have the opportunity to do the same thing. I love that. I think
Yeah.
that I've had so many nuggets just in terms of what you shared, and I think that's such a powerful piece that you just touched on in terms of like being able to just simply hold the space. And I know this doesn't apply to all high performing women, but there are many of us out there, and we don't allow ourselves the time to hold the space typically, right? Because we're wearing multiple hats with multiple to-do lists where people need us. And so we just latch on to, well, I need to be this person for fulfilling those
But that's
external.
fragmentation. And then we
Exactly.
call ourselves multi-dimensional, multi-purposed. And I'm like, no,
No.
fragmentation, because a part of me wants to be this way for this reason with my kids, and another part of me wants to be this way in
Yeah.
business for this reason, but it's all
Yeah.
fear-based. You're not really being yourself. You split yourself
Exactly.
in 10 different parts, and everybody gets a little part of you, but they don't get
Yeah.
all of you.
No.
And so if you're working on, especially women with high impact, that thing that you want to have a high impact on needs all of
Hmm.
you,
Hmm.
not 10% of
Exactly.
you. But it doesn't mean all of you means that your children don't get all of you. No,
Exactly.
that's not
Yes.
how it works, actually. Again, that comes from a fragmented system that would think that way. A
Yes.
whole is like, I have 10 minutes with my kids and I give them all of me in this 10
Yeah.
minutes. And that 10 minutes will have a greater impact on your children than years of fragmented self. You see what I
Exactly.
mean? And the same thing with your
Absolutely.
calling, your mission, everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think one of the big pieces that I'm going to introduce to the listeners, if I haven't already, when we show up in this fragmented way, like you talk about showing up as 10% of ourselves for our coworkers or within our corporate space, or and then a different 10% that shows up, for our children or a significant other. It's typically the 10% that we want to bring forth in those environments that's going to be pleasing to the receiver of us, which, spoiler alert, is manipulation and
Yeah.
manipulative. And so
Yeah.
I've been
'Cause
sitting
it's
with that a little.
fear-based.
It and it's fear based, 100%. 100%. And so
Yeah.
I love that, like calling it out for what it is. That's something that I've really started to do more of this year is
Mhm.
like name the thing, right? Like
Wow,
just say
that's
it. And that way you
powerful.
don't have to continue to fragment. Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Natalie, if our listeners want to work with you, how can they find you and and who's your ideal client? Like who are you looking to work with?
Well, my ideal client is listening to me right now, and she's like, "Oh my god. I have
Me.
done all the healing, the
That's it, right?
mindset, all of it, and holy shit, I want to learn what she's got going on."
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah, if your
definitely
hand just shot up wherever you're listening to this,
Yeah.
this is for you.
This is for you. But what I also have, what I created that women really love, it's called Be Unfuckwithable. It's a
Oh,
free 3-day course that teaches you exactly where you abandon yourself, how to return to center, and how to activate your natural authority. So it's 3 parts. It's been getting like I had this pull, I held space, I did an event, and it didn't work. Nobody signed up, nobody showed up. And again, I held space for it. And then I got feedback from it, and it was bump it like it's hot. And my women are like, I don't want to see my life as a problem. And I'm like, well, that's fair, right?
Mm.
Like, so nobody was
Mhm.
interested in it. So, and one client came up to me and she's like, oh my God, I feel so unfuckwithable ever since I've been doing this work. And I'm like, oh, oh, like, there's life, right? And then and then I
Angels,
built around
yeah.
it, and then that just, like, got so much, feedback. I got so many messages, women just thanking me and
Yes.
appreciating what I went through also because I did go through a lot, to get to this point to learn what
Right.
center really is. And
Yes.
so it really warmed the soul of me to be recognized that way, where women are like, "What you've been through to really be able to bring this to us," you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we just love your soul and thank you, and that's what warms me. That's to me is sisterhood,
Yeah.
um, and it's just yeah, and it's honestly, it's about that. And, yeah, and so I would recommend that, and
Okay.
if you're yeah, and from there, if you wanna connect with me after that, absolutely, but I would say start there because that will really show you, like, whether this is totally for you.
Exactly. I love that. Well, thank you for creating that resource and making it a tool that's available for free.
Mhm.
I think that's huge, and I think it just I've not taken it, so I'm going to say that it's definitely a space where you get to do the introspective work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, love that. Love that. Okay, Natalie. So you have gone from I was going to say competitive athlete. You've been in the corporate space. You've had this just experience of having and creating it all, watching it all crumble and crack, and then really truly creating something that is aligned, it has an impact. Truly an exceptional leader. Thank you for what you've done. One question that I like to pose to every guest as we wrap up every episode is, how would you like to be remembered as a leader?
The leader that guides them back to their true leader. That's how I wanna be remembered. The woman that walked next to you and helped you remember who your true leader is, and it's your own internal system. It already knows, it's already brilliant, and it's already bringing you back to cohesion right now, but it feels painful, and we judge it, and we blame it, and we do you know what I mean? We don't understand it. And then life, the relationships, everything that's going on in your life is happening truly for you. But instead of saying that, help your body and your system remember it. Because once your whole system is working for life and truly believing that life is for you, and you remove that old belief that life doesn't support you, and you replace it with life actually does, and it's deep within your
Mhm.
cells, you are going to operate very differently, and you're going to feel like alive. And I really believe that a lot of women they have the knowing, they have intelligence. If you could just hear me, you guys know so much. It's not women blow me away. You ask them a question and wait for what comes through them. It's just unbelievable the intelligence they have. What they
Right.
need is containment. Once you can hold life and really like truly understand how to do that, oh my God, now your intelligence gets to spread when in the moments that matter the most, you know?
Yeah. I love
Mhm.
that. Oh my gosh, Natalie, I love that so much. The passion that you have, the intentionality behind it. We're all about impact here as well and growth. It's one of our values at Leadership That Shines. That just resonated through everything that you just shared in terms of how you want to be remembered. And one thing, a common theme that always pops up is that it's always about those that we're serving. It's not about us, right? So it's the impact and the influence that you have on other people. So thank you, thank you, thank you for
Mm,
the work
thank
that you're doing and for taking time out to spend time with me and the listeners of the show.
Oh,
It's been
I
an
love it.
absolute honor.
I heard Natalie on another podcast and I was like, "Oh my God, I need to, like, talk to her."
Yes.
I just love her energy. She's amazing.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
thank you. And I can't pass up an opportunity to connect with another Natalie. So there's that piece of it. And I am not disappointed. I didn't have any expectations. And so I am pleasantly pleased.
Mm.
And honored to have been able to like actually live this experience with you. So thank you for holding this space, not just for myself, for the listeners. Collectively being able to do that
Mhm.
with you. It's been an absolute honor. I will make sure that we put your contact information in the show notes as well so that folks can find the unfuckwithable assessment so that they can go check it out. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to leave our listeners with?
No, I think we touched pretty much
We
everything. I
did.
think this is beautiful. I think
I
we
love
and thank
that.
you
Oh
so
my
much for the
gosh.
questions. God,
You are
Natalie
so
has a
welcome. You're so
way of
welcome.
asking questions to really get to the root of things, and I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You all know the deal. Make sure that you are subscribing and liking these episodes. The engagement is growing, and I'm so grateful for it. Continue to share these episodes with friends or anyone that you know that would benefit and enjoy these episodes. And quick reminder, new episode drops every Wednesday, so keep an eye out so that you can be in the know. And if you've not subscribed to our newsletter, check us out on LinkedIn, the Flamingo Files on LinkedIn and Substack, where you can hear more about the behind the scenes of these episodes. All right, until next time, see y'all soon.
Thank you for spending time growing with me on the Leadership That Shines podcast. Every episode is built around the values of impact, influence, and growth, and I want all three of those to show up in how you lead starting this week. If this episode added value to your week, share it with a leader in your world who is ready to grow. Subscribe and follow so that you never miss a week, and I'll see you in the next episode.